Why does the trash want to come while I'm actually trying to get work done? Poor me, poor me. Okay, I'm gonna start the camera and start recording again after they stop what they're doing out there, because I can't even hear myself.
I got your text. What's going? Speed dating? Draculaura! Just give it a shot. What have you got to lose? Let's see. My dignity, my patience, my temper.
You're done. You're done.
Alright, the trash people are gone, so that means I can talk now. Hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. Hello, my name is Harriyanna. If you're new and this is your first time ever seeing me, welcome to or welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain. You were not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why? Nobody is worthy of being the first mate. But hello y'all, my name is Harriyanna and I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Now today, if you're wondering why my setup looks like this, it's not my usual new setup that I had. Y'all, I've been going through it, okay? Y'all, I've just been really going through it. If you want to check all that stuff out, it's on my Patreon. But it's just kind of been really difficult and just very hard for me to get work done. Like, y'all never had like depression sleep where you sleep for like over 12 hours? That's what happened to me, and I started panicking, and then I realized I didn't have anything to get posted today. I didn't have anything, like, you know, I have my store. I didn't have anything for my store to like work on today, and it's not good. It's not good. But I remember that like this is something that's been heavily on my mind. I spoke about it on my podcast simply because I didn't want there to be like an abundance and like an overflow of videos like this. And I went on YouTube today to look for a video on this, and either I didn't find one or nobody made one. Okay, maybe I didn't look hard enough. There probably was a smaller creator that did make a video on this, but I'm gonna sit here and talk about it, okay? I'm actually very surprised because this had the cartoon community in shambles, okay? And the doll community in shambles. We were all very distraught over this mess that has happened right here. And I'm gonna sit here and talk to you guys about my feelings and thoughts about the entire situation of Clawdeen being played by a light bright. Clawdeen is not light skin, okay? Clawdeen, the girl lighter than me. I'm brown skin. Clawdeen is dark. She should have been played by a brown skin or a dark skin girl, but I'm leaning more towards dark skin because we need more dark skin representation. Why is that girl, she about like 3 shades lighter than me? That's no ma'am whatsoever. And I'm gonna sit here and just talk about my entire thoughts and situations on this entire colorist ass situation, okay? So for those of you guys who don't know what Monster High is, okay, basically Monster High is like Descendants but like monsters, okay? So you know how Descendants, they're like the children of like famous Disney characters and whatnot. Monster High, they're the children of like famous monsters, okay? It has numerous dolls. It came out when I was like in middle school, kind of when I was like aging out of the doll phase and everything like that. But every now and then I would come in and watch Monster High for the most part. And one of the reasons why I watched Monster High was for Clawdeen and her siblings, okay? They were like the black family of Monster High, and I'm always here for great representation. I thought Claudia and her family were great representation. I didn't agree with a lot of the little choices that they made with them sometimes, but Claudine and her family made a lot of black kids happy, and that's the good thing about it, okay? We're gonna debunk Monster High one day because the movies do got some issues, okay? But for the most part, I strongly do think that Clawdeen is great representation. And the best thing about Clawdeen for the most part is that when you look at her, she's visibly black, okay? She's not one of those black girls where you look at her and you see, she might be mixed with something else, okay? No, Claudine is a black girl for the most part, okay? And what I love so much about Claudine is that she was just so confident. She loved herself. She was full of, I wouldn't say she was like full of herself, but for the most part, she was just like a neutrally good character. She was also very sweet, sassy. And the thing about it is that I didn't care about Claudine being sassy and Monster High is because all the girls were sassy, okay? See, you can do that if you make everyone else like that too, okay? That's one thing people don't seem to get when they are putting black characters in like white spaces or just non-black spaces for the most part, is that if you're gonna do something to that black character, you gotta do it to everybody or else it's gonna look bad on you and it's gonna look racist, okay? But anyway, that's just a bit off subject. So we found out a while back that they were going to be making a live action Monster High, and we were all joking saying that we thought Jules LeBlanc was going to be Frankie, and I wouldn't have been surprised if she was. You guys may know her as Annie LeBlanc. That's what we were talking about. Somebody was like, Annie and Jaden gonna be Dracula and Frankie, and I thought that was like really funny. But we were all just talking about what would like a live action Monster High even be. So y'all, if y'all wondering what that thing is, that's my light. I told y'all we're using natural lighting today. I was just so tired, so drained. So we get the casting. We see Cece from Girl Meets World. Love them so much. They're so great. They have been casted as Frankie. Great. I had nothing to say about Dracula's casting. I was happy that Dracula was being played by a person of color. She's being played by an Asian girl. But when we saw Claudine's casting, I was beyond disappointed and I was kind of disgusted in a sense, okay? It's the same shit that has been going on and on and on and on all the time in Hollywood, where they would take a canonically brown skin or dark skin person, but we're gonna say dark skin today, okay? Because some people can argue and say that Claudine was brown skin, Claudine was dark skin. Anyway, I would have preferred Claudine to be played by a dark skin girl because of how great she is, and we need better dark skin representation for these young black girls out here in general. I would much rather they have gotten a real black girl, okay? If you go and look at the pictures of that girl, I don't know how old that girl is, by the way. The one that has been casted as the role of Claudine, I think she needs to be recasted. I don't care. That may sound mean as fuck, but it's the truth. She needs to be recasted. Not my Claudine, okay? I don't know how old she is. That's why I'm not putting a picture of her in here, whatever, because I'm not about to be getting sued by their girl parents, okay? But y'all can go look it up. Just type in her name and Claudine live action actress, and you will see, you will be questioning that girl's race, okay? When you look at me, when you look at Harriyannahook, you see a black woman, okay? You see a visibly black girl, okay? When you look at that girl, you're like, what exactly is she, okay? She looks very racially ambiguous, okay? That's what blew me the most, is that they got a black girl not black girl, she's not black, I don't care. They got a girl who don't even really look all that black for the most part. My camera is dying. I'm gonna pause it, but let me talk for a minute, okay? Like, let's say you take, y'all know that girl Lele, the girl that plays Sadie on the show? She may be light skinned, but when you look at her, you see a black girl, okay? This girl right here, no ma'am, no. Like, she looked way more racially ambiguous than the kids on Mixed-ish, okay? What that tell you? Hey, so I'm back. I ended up typing everything else that I wanted to say while my camera charged, so I wouldn't lose my train of thought. So you see me like looking down a lot and things don't sound as authentic. That's why they don't, okay? So, here's one big thing that everybody's been talking about when it comes to like the casting rooms and stuff like that. They say don't attack the actors, which, yes, like, to be honest, you really shouldn't be harassing people that you don't know in general. So yeah, but also I'm still looking at them funny, because y'all are aware that a lot of people didn't know this, but a lot of people are not aware that actors pick and choose what roles they audition for, okay? They pick and choose what roles that they audition for. Sometimes, you know, I know how agencies work. I know how that shit works. Well, they will send them, hey, you will be good for this role, yada yada yada, but then when they actually look into the role, they see that they still don't apply for it. They still aren't, like, you know, the part. They don't look the part, but they still go and audition for it, knowing that they will have a good chance for it, knowing that they can use colorism to their advantage. Okay, that's why I look at all of y'all funny. And even if they do get the part of the darker skinned person, they still be taking it. They be taking colorism to their advantage. Let's say if I audition for something that was meant for a way darker girl, and I get it, but I was like, no. Like, I get the thing about auditioning. It's good to always audition. I understand that. But to take the role, no, I'm declining that shit. Because I'm like, no, this is better suited for the person that it was intended for. I am not about to use colorism to my advantage to take something away from a darker skinned person. No. We need more dark skin representation. How do y'all live with yourselves from doing stuff like this? I just don't get it, okay? So like I said, I'm still looking at them funny because they go after roles like this where it's canon that the role is meant for a brown skin or dark skin girl. And this isn't just for black characters, because this happens a lot with Latino characters and Asian characters too. But the main reason you always hear about colorism in Hollywood when it affects black girls is because black women usually are the ones that are like the loudest about this. I am very happy to see that many Asian women were speaking up about Sokka and Katara's casting for the Avatar: The Last Airbender, because Sokka and Katara are not light skinned at all, and people were saying that they used a bad picture of the girl that they casted as Katara. So okay, I'm okay with that now. After I saw that the girl was of darker skin, she was because Katara is my color. Sokka and Katara are not light skinned, okay? They are about my color and maybe slightly darker than that, okay? Sokka's actor is just straight up white. Like, that boy, no. Like, it's like that casting was very lazy. So I was so happy to see that there were a lot of Asian people speaking up about the colorism with the Avatar: The Last Airbender casting. So I noticed that it's getting a little bit better. So colorism affects other races than just black people, but you often hear about it more from black people because we're the most loud about it, and because Hollywood is just very strange, because we're still trying to do better about having more diversity in television, and there are more black people working in this industry than there are Asian people and Latino people. That's just kind of throwing that out there. That's just kind of like a fact a little bit. So this issue kind of affects us the most in these spaces, but it also affects those people too. And we need to be more vocal about that. We need to just be more open about how colorism just doesn't affect black people, because a lot of people tend to think that colorism is just a black issue, and it's not. It affects Asian people, it affects Pacific Islander people, it affects South Asian people, it affects Latino people deeply, okay? So, like I said, you knew what you was doing when you auditioned for that role. You knew what you was doing. You used colorism to your advantage, okay? I don't care how talented you are, you used colorism to your advantage. And I noticed that shit was happening a lot when it came to like the progenies and things like that. When I was looking at certain people auditioning, I was getting really mad because roles that were specifically meant for like black girls, I was having very racially ambiguous girls audition and like sign up and whatnot. I even had some white girls try to audition for Uma. Can y'all believe that? It was a mess. So we know how Hollywood loves to cast black women of color who are white adjacent, okay? And what I mean by white adjacent is that they are of lighter skin and their hair is very loose. Like, it still has some type of curl to it, but it is very loose. Like, look at Sydney to the Max. That is a great example of them casting somebody who's white adjacent. Even though the show, I am glad because she is canonically a biracial girl. I'm glad that they weren't trying to pass off and say she was just a black girl when we know that wasn't the truth though. But Hollywood loves to cast girls that look like Sydney from Sydney to the Max as fully black girls. They love to cast girls that look like Zendaya as fully black girls. And that's literally what has happened with the Monster High situation, okay? Y'all love to cast women of color who are white adjacent. Like, let me just tell y'all a quick little story of when I worked on this movie over the summer. sure if I can say the name of it or whatever. This isn't like spoilers or anything, by the way, if anybody does figure out the film I'm talking about. It's a Netflix movie, okay? And it got dragged over the summer for the colorism problem, as it should, okay? Is it a shocker that it's a Netflix film? No, Netflix is known to, you know, be the cheerleader for the light-skin brigade, okay? Like, So literally almost everyone in the main and secondary cast of that movie is white adjacent, except for the black man that they casted. Interesting. That's why we were talking about when it comes to colorism. Colorism mainly affects women of color more than it affects men of color. And that right there is just, it's misogynoir. It's just misogyny towards Asian women. It's just misogyny towards South Asian women. It's misogyny towards Latino women. It's just misogyny towards women of color. So there were plenty of women of color in this film, by the way. I think it is important to highlight this when you look at the main cast and you see a lot of them are women of color. But they were, one, all mixed with white, and two, they were all very, very racially ambiguous. Like, I even made a joke saying that all them girls look the same. They did. Like I said, Netflix is the cheerleader for the light skin brigade. They truly are. It's so obvious that Hollywood wants a black girl, but not too black. They don't want a black girl with like kinky curly hair. Y'all see I got naps too. They don't want that. They don't want naps, okay? They don't want a black girl that got nappy hair. They don't want a black girl that looks visually black. They don't want a black girl with a wide nose. They don't want a black girl with fully big lips. They don't want a black girl that is dark skinned. And then if they do want a black girl that is dark skinned, they want to throw a wig on her. They don't want to show her natural hair. They want you black, but they don't want you too black. They want you black to where white people can accept you, but not black enough to where your blackness makes someone uncomfortable. So they want Latino, but they still want white passing. Like, y'all go look at freaking In the Heights. They want, like, you know, Vanessa in the Heights. Those are the kind of Latino women they like to cast. They don't want to cast more of the Latino women that look more like, you know, the secondary cast of the women that played the women in the hair salon. They don't want to cast more and more women like that. They don't. They don't want to cast Afro-Latinos. They don't. And then they do cast Afro-Latinos. They don't want to cast them as Afro-Latino. They just want to cast them as black. Like, no. There are dark-skinned Latino people. Show that. And they also want Asian, but they still want an Asian person that can use the same foundation shade as a white person, okay? That's what I was talking about. They want people that are white adjacent. They would love to throw an Asian person in the cast if they still the same skin color as a white person. They can look extremely Asian. They can look visibly Asian. I'm sorry. They can look visibly Asian, but they don't want them to, like, you know, be darker skinned. That's why I love Never Have I Ever. I love Never Have I Ever. I need to get back to watching it. I just had to take a break from it because it hit a little too close to home with everything that I'm dealing with right now. And I love how Davy is a visibly South Asian girl. She is of darker skin. Like, she has the strong features. Like, I love that. I truly do appreciate that. And I love how it's a great show also. Like, I love that. I just love that, okay? Oh. Now, back to Clawdeen. It hurts the most with Clawdeen because, like, colorism affects us all the time, every day in the film industry. But the reason it really irritates me so much with Clawdeen is because Clawdeen was that girl, and this casting of her being played by a racially ambiguous girl, it feels very intentional because Clawdeen ran the school. Clawdeen was one of the most popular girls at Monster High, if not the most popular girl at Monster High, okay? They didn't want to see a dark-skinned black girl doing that. They didn't want to see a dark-skinned black girl being great. They didn't want a dark-skinned black girl where everyone liked her, okay? So instead of casting someone that actually resembled Clawdeen, they casted someone who was not visibly black. They did that on purpose, and it truly does hurt. It just goes to show you how you have black women who have to work so much harder because of colorism, and texturism doesn't come to their advantage, okay? It really pisses me off because we all know who Rielle Downs is. Rielle plays Charlotte on Henry Danger, the best character on that show. She carried that freaking show, okay? one thing about this is that people don't give her credits for that show. She carried Henry Danger, okay? But it really pisses me off how we don't see her that much in Hollywood. We don't see her casting in a lot more things. And she is so talented, so freaking gorgeous. But because she has forky hair, kinky coily hair, and she is dark skinned, we don't get to see her that much either. Like, it's really bothersome. It truly does bother me. Like, I'll even give Sky Jackson her credits, okay? Sky Jackson is talented, but she is also dark skinned. She also has kinky hair, but she has been wearing it straightened and braids and things like that. We don't see her in nothing big. We just hear about her in indie stuff. Like, one thing I love about Issa Rae is that, one, she is a visibly black woman. Very beautiful. I love how in her work, she is very big on representation and diversity. The black people that she cast are visibly black people. They are dark-skinned black people, to be exact, okay? But when are we gonna get like another Issa Rae in this industry? Like, there's so much greatness out here in the independent film market, but when are we gonna have another Issa Rae type in the film industry, like the big film industry, not the indie film market, okay? The indie film market is honestly a great place that I really highly recommend people go look for. You want better representation and stuff like that, please start giving your attention to Hollywood. Stop giving your attention to Hollywood. That's what I meant to say. Start giving it to people who actually deserve it, people who actually do care about their craft, not people that just do diversity because they know they're doing it for like street cred, if that makes sense. It's just very annoying. Like, they want to say like, hey, we have representation now, give us your money. It's obvious that a lot of them do that as like a cash grab, not because they actually care. And it shows that it's a cash grab when you actually look at the material. You see that it's slacking, okay? Smaller independent filmmakers deserve the attention that y'all keep giving to like Disney and Nickelodeon, okay? I'm gonna just leave that at that, okay? When are we gonna get like another Issa Rae in this industry, okay? And black women who have stood their ground and want better work and diversity and representation. Like, it's just very frustrating because it's like, when it comes to being a black woman, just a woman of color in general that is of darker complexion, where you visibly look like you're a person of color, being more vocal makes you look worse, okay? People always want to pull the string about you being difficult. It's just misogyny towards women of color at the end of the day. It's just very annoying and it's just very frustrating. And I'm just really like, I talk more about like Issa Rae on my podcast. I will have the link to that down below if you guys would like to listen to that. Please go listen to it. But it's just very hurtful. And seeing that Clawdeen is going to be played by somebody a part of the light skin brigade just does not sit well with me. It just really hurts, okay? And I'm just over it. If I do watch that film, it would be for CC and CC only. I don't care no more, okay? I'm gonna need somebody to do a fan cast, a fan series of Monster High, and I know they're gonna cast the black girl to be Clawdeen. That's the only time I'm gonna watch it, because I'm just over it. I'm just done. And that concludes just the end of this little ranty kind of video. Very relaxed. I'm sorry, y'all. I needed to get something up today because if I didn't, YouTube was going to mess up my analytics again. And it was just going to be very frustrating for me. Better and more well-edited videos will be coming later on this week. Hopefully. It's just been really, really difficult for me to just kind of get most of anything done. If you like to follow me on everything, just follow me at Harriyanna, HARRIYANNA. I have merch, I have a web show, all of that good stuff will be linked down below. Please do not be colorist. That's the main advice I gotta give to y'all today. Please do not be colorist. I'm tired. I'm over it. Start casting monoracial looking black girls in your stuff, Hollywood, okay? And please support the independent filmmakers out here. They truly do deserve your support more than these big corporations, okay? And that is thanks to capitalism. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good afternoon. Hopefully that's when this is going up. And if you're watching this at night, because I know a lot of people don't watch me until the nighttime, I see the analytics. I see when y'all get online. Have a good night. 'Cause I work hard to get to this point in my life. I'm blowing up, so don't hate, just congratulate. The Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind, but
Buttercup fight villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they're shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical X. They coming through and